up to the game after that.
From place balls and from play as well, you know, and it took the late substitute by Jason Barrett to actually add the 2 points that maybe clinched the victory from in the end, and they were lucky in the end that they didn't concede a goal and actually lose the match by a point, but there's a lot of work to be done there yet.
Well, at least they win the All-Ireland final. That's the main thing at the moment, I suppose. All right, gentlemen, let's concentrate on this senior match coming up now. And just before I do that, can I mention and say a special hello to all of the people who are watching us in far-flung places on this particular Sunday afternoon, or perhaps it's Sunday morning where you're watching. For example, in Edmonton, in Canada. Hello to everybody watching us out there this morning. Cyril Farrell, we don't know what the Clare team is. We haven't been able to get access to the Clare dressing room. That's hardly a surprise. So we'll be making this one up as we go along.
No surprise. There's no surprise at all, because it was on the cards with all the that's going on during the week, and the same happened in the Munster final in the replay. There's no one allowed in the dressing room. It's kind of mind games by Jerry again. 15 will have to line out, though. That 15 they only know themselves. Offaly have an advantage in the sense, Coswell here has been interviewed there. They know the 15. They know what they're up against, a very good team, and they're all set to do it. Clare, they probably know it since this morning. They probably had a fitness test to Liam Doyle. And whether he's there or not, it's a big factor, because they knew all along without Brian Lohan, and they probably knew they were going to be without Conor Lynch as well. But Liam Doyle would be one that they'd be hoping to have. And if he's not playing, that's 3 top players out, and it's going to take a great effort from Clare to win this one.
If Tomás Mulcahy, Clare win without those players, I mean, this will be a really super effort.
Yes, and that's why I'm saying it's probably one of the most powerful games Clare will ever play, you know, and their backs up to the wall. I mean, there's a lot of pressure on the players themselves, a lot of pressure on the manager, so, I mean, it's time for them now to produce the goods. Offaly, on the other hand, are under no pressure going into this game. Nobody gives them a chance, and that's a great way to go into semi-final, and we know there's some very, very good hurlers, and they can really put it up to Clare today.
Well, that's the Offaly team, and as you can hear for yourselves, they have got a very, very fine greeting from their own supporters who have come here, because we've talked about the Clare support that has come to Croke Park this afternoon. Let it also be said that the Offaly people have come to support their team as well. Cyril Farrell, I was talking during the week, and I don't know if you saw Sideline View last night, to Pat Delaney, part of the great team of the 80s, and he said to me, if there's blood at all in these lads, they'll go out and put on a performance today. Yeah,
well, you see, Michael, there's a lot of pressure on the Clare team because they're brought on by Joe Lucan. But the players in Offaly have brought pressure on themselves as well. Because no matter what they say, they effectively got rid of Babs keeping. The players back to another, so Babs had to go. So him and new manager, a man from our own town, Michael Bond, and they have to answer the critics now. Against Antrim, they didn't have to play that well. It was always on the cards that they were good enough to beat Antrim. But today is a very big one for them as well. So as Pat Delaney said, if they have blood in them at all, they have to do it today.
Michael Bond seems to have brought a little bit of cohesion into this Offaly team in the short time that he's been able to work with them.
Yeah, he'd be used to handling people and he'd be used to dealing with players and with people, being a teacher as such. And I would say, with the guiding hand of Coswell here is very much there, very much for the last day, and in the background, he wouldn't go in and he wouldn't be changing. He'd just bring a kind of bit of, say, order to the thing. And I'd say he'd more or less put up to the players here. You've done enough of talking, let's do your talking on the pitch now.
They've also been fortunate in the sense that they've had a couple of players who've been unavailable for injury or other reasons have sort of come back into the fray again.
Yeah, it's their first time this year that they can pick from the full panel, which is a great help going into any game. Whereas it's Clare's first time in 5 years that they're not picking from a full deck of cards. And to me, as Tomás said, this is the biggest test Clare have had in the last 5 years.
Well, mentioning that Clare team, here they come, and we'll just pause for a moment so you can hear for yourselves the greeting that will await the Munster and All-Ireland champions. Well, there they are, whoever they are, if you like. What is the Clare team? Maybe Marty Morrissey will be able to fill us in on that.
Welcome down here to the sideline. Some dramatic news here from the Clare team, which was just released to us at 3:15. Richard Woods plays at full-back. Moving to right cornerback will be Frank Lohan. The half-back line will stay the same, which means that Liam Doyle has been past fit to play despite those ankle ligaments problems. Replacing Colin Lynch at midfield will be Fergal Hegarty, wearing number 23. There is one other change in the forward line. The Sparrow is in. Ger O'Loughlin will start at full forward. He's replacing Fergie Toohey, but there possibly will be one other positional switch, obviously, in the Clare half-forward line. So the news again, Richard Woods is in, Fergal Hegarty is in at midfield, and Ger O'Loughlin will start at full forward.
Well, now we know, and Tomás Mulcahy changes wholesale there in the Clare team. Apart from the ones enforced on them, obviously.
A lot of them enforced, but I mean, I suppose before the game you wouldn't have predicted that Richard Woods would come in at full back. I mean, everybody maybe expected Liam Doyle, if he was out, that Frank Lunn would remain at the full back position because he's played it before. Again, it's what we've expected maybe out of Ger O'Loughlin and down through the last number of games. There's been changes all over the field. Ger O'Loughlin is a big boost to him in at full forward again, you know. So that's the strength that they have in depth over the years, Michael. It's the strength that they have on their bench, and they've been able to pick players like Ger O'Loughlin to come onto the team, Fergal Hegarty to come in midfield. And it seems that every man, woman and child from Clare is here today to support their team. It's great to see. They're all getting behind the team because of the controversy that has been there all week, and it remains to see whether the team can actually deliver the goods.
Well, those from Clare who haven't been able to make the journey today, they can probably hear the cheering down around places like Quilty and Ennis and so forth at the moment. That's a good point, Cyril Farrell, that Tomás made. OK, they're missing important players, but I mean, you're looking at that team there, that's no bad team.
Yeah, well, Richard Woods, his pedigree was very good, Michael. His father used to play for Clare. He's a regular full-back, has been playing very well in training, and has a great college campaign over him. Frank Lunn would prefer cornerback. The half-back line is still the same. Now, Fergal Hegarty would have been one of the lads that was chopped a few seasons ago. Remember the All-Ireland final, he was supposed to play and he didn't play. He's getting his big chance here out midfield. He's a natural athlete. There was doubts during the week. He had a kind of a slight ankle injury. If he was fit, he was the one to come in for Colin Lynch. And of course, Ger O'Loughlin, the feeling in Clare would be that Ger O'Loughlin is far better at the start. Takes a long time to get into the games usually than to bring on. That would be the feeling as such. So Fergus Toohey is off. But again, it's the same thing. And as Tomás says, if support could win the games, Clare of this game won. But unfortunately, support doesn't win the game. They still have to go out and deliver. And it's really a big one for Ger.
Well, Tomás Mulcahy, there's the man that not exactly has been at the centre of the controversy, but has seen this controversy all around him during the week. One newspaper article this morning said that today's game was only a sideshow to all of this sort of controversy and hoopla. Do you think that's unfair to this All-Ireland semi-final?
I think it's unfair to the Clare players themselves because, I mean, the Clare players themselves have been brilliant over the last number of years. I mean, I was the first one to praise them when they did win the All-Ireland final, and I mean, they've been fantastic. Unfortunately, things off the field have developed, and it's a pity in a way. I mean, the build-up to this match has been more off the field than about on the field, and it's a pity. Hopefully, we'll have a good game of hurling today. I think hurling needs a good game from both teams today to actually quell everything that went on over the weekend.
In terms of the conditions down there, Cyril Farrell, and we've established already that it's very warm, and you can see that yourselves on the television screens, that it's warm and sunny here in Croke Park. If Clare's fitness, which has been such a strong point to them, presumably they will deal with these conditions better than Offaly will, because Michael Bond was saying to me during the week he'd like his players to be a little bit fitter. Yeah, well, Clare would have gone in very high on the fitness stakes, and the players very high intensity the whole time. But today is a day for letting the ball do the job, and Offaly have lovely wrist hurlers. Very, very good on both sides, and they will let the ball do the work. And it's very nice in the minor match. Very young players, very fit. They seem to be like the game was dead as such. The ball has been let go fast enough. Another thing that's very noticeable today, even though it's a lovely pitch down there, the grass is very, very tight. The ball will hop and bounce. Very hard to take line balls. Maybe if to go outside the line a good bit, or maybe inside the line a good bit, but definitely just on the line itself, it's very hard. And Offaly really, I know it's an All-Ireland semi-final, but one good game, they're in the final. Clare, I think Clare kind of feel that they owe this one for Ger. It's more, you know what I mean? If they lose today, the deck of cards comes down around them, and I can't emphasise enough. I think it's the most important game they've ever played in the last 5 years. Well, it's a fascinating prospect for this first All-Ireland hurling semi-final of 1998. I'm sure looking forward to the game as much as we are, is our match commentator, Ger Canning.
Absolutely, Michael. Yes, it is really a most fascinating prospect as Hubert Rigney leads Offaly in the parade of the teams around Croke Park on this gloriously sunny afternoon. I will start now by taking a check on the teams for the afternoon. Offaly, the beaten Leinster finalists, make 3 changes from the side that beat Antrim in the quarter-final in a display that lacked conviction. Johnny Dooley is back in the half-forward line. Paddy Mulhare returns to right corner forward, while Darren Hannafy is listed in midfield alongside Johnny Pilkington. Curiously, Joe Dooley is cited on the team sheet in the half-forward line, but as against Antrim, many forward switches are anticipated. Indeed, I would anticipate that Darren Hannafy might not play in midfield, rather it might be Michael Duignan. It's Johnny Dooley's 20th championship match, Brian Wheelahan's 25th, Michael Duignan's 30th, and Joe Dooley's 42nd. So loads of experience there, and experience as well among the Offaly substitutes this afternoon. For instance, they have been using in the past couple of games Killian Farrell and Colm Cassidy, not to mention Barry Wheelahan, and of course Billy Dooley as well. There really is a terrific atmosphere here. It's about a crowd of about 30,000, I would anticipate, this afternoon. And there's a lovely mingling of the two colours, the saffron and blue of Clare, the green, white and gold of Offaly. All summed up brilliantly for me down in Clongleaf Road around 12 o'clock today, when this couple went down the road hand in hand. He was wearing his Offaly colours as she was in her identical Clare strip. And this the Clare side now for the afternoon. As you heard a little while ago, we just got the team information just a few minutes before you. Richard Woods is in there at full back, a major championship match for him. It's Fergal Hegarty who'll play alongside Ollie Baker in midfield. And up front, Gerald Loughlin, he's listed there in our programme on the 40. Chances are he might well be placed in around the full forward position. And the substitutes for the afternoon, well, they will now include the players you have here, but you can add to that, I'm sure, John Redden as well, the number 17, who was originally listed, and Fergus Toohey, but not included by Ger Loughnane and his fellow selectors. Ger serving a one-match sideline ban. So he's got to go into his position there alongside the suspended Colin Lynch. Well, it really is one of the warmest Sundays of the championship season so far. That wouldn't be difficult, but such an important occasion. It's Clare's 4th ever All-Ireland semi-final. They have a 100% record. It's Offaly's 9th semi. They have a 50% record. 4 wins, 4 losses. There's a place in the All-Ireland hurling final in September at stake here. A gloriously hot summer's day. Offaly won the toss and up to play from left to right in the first half. Little or no breeze around this afternoon, a perfectly still day. The match referee is a man who won an All-Ireland medal back in 1980 when Galway won back the cup, and that of course is Jimmy Cooney there, and supported by his linesmen this afternoon, Eildon Moxivna and Michael Bodkin. So Darren Hannafy has indeed started in midfield for Offaly, up towards Johnny Dooley. They come looking for the first score. Perhaps it'll be brother Joe who'll get that first score. Challenged and harassed the whole time by Anthony Daly. Joe, vastly experienced player. Most experienced man on the field, has got a 65. Went off the back, and the umpire is out quickly. So a really good opportunity then for Offaly and Brian Wheelahan to try and put over the first score, as indeed he did in the quarter-final against Antrim. David Fitzgerald poised in there in his 23rd championship match. Brian Wheelahan. Perfectly still day. That's a beautiful shot, and that's a lovely point. As in the quarter-final, Offaly take the lead. Great support here for both teams this afternoon, but in particular from Clare. David Fitzgerald to puck out towards PJ O'Connell, who's starting on the 40 there on Hubert Rigney. Again, it's Offaly who are trying to mount a decent attack. The target man there was John Troy. This is Brian Quinn. Good clearance downfield. Whipped away there by Brian Wheelahan. Fergal Hagerty getting it back down towards his forwards. Dropped into the square there. The Sparrows in after it. And a good save by the Offaly goalkeeper, who's Stephen Byrne. Darren Hannafy. Offaly using a bit of ground hurling here with John Ryan, who started out on the 40, where he's been marked by Sean McMahon. David Ford, by the way, is left half forward. As I tried to look around here and see where all the different players are playing. PG O'Connell's on the 40. It's Jamesy O'Connor who's right half forward. Anthony Daly, as ever, captain and left half back. Again in towards the Sparrow. Alan Markham's there as well. Back towards Gerald Loughlin. Brian Wheelahan without the stick, needing some assistance, getting it there. Kevin Keenahan making the clearance. Wonderful catch here. Sean McMahon, that's going towards the right, and it's gone wide. And you expect he'll have a very important role to play, the man who really anchors the side at centre half back. Stephen Byrne with the puck out for Offaly. Gerald Loughlin is full forward. Markham's on his left, and he's got Niall Gilligan on his right, as anticipated. Meanwhile, that's Liam Doyle, happily after shaking off the effects of an ankle injury. Back there by Brian Wheelahan. Won by Ollie Baker. He's having a wonderful season. Towards PJ O'Connell, back from suspension. Nicely put outside here. A chance for David Ford from McGonagall, and he's put it over the bar. Good attack by Clare, producing a score, and David Ford ties up the match. This was the build-up again, down towards David Ford, playing in his 9th championship match. He's been a regular scorer for them, and that's now a goal and 9 points in his championship career. Sean McMahon going back, trying to reach up for that one, put under intense pressure. Beautifully picked up by Brian Quinn. He's having an excellent season. Down towards Alan Markham, 19 years of age. First touch leaving him down. It allows Simon Wheelahan to come in. Simon, who was man of the match against Antrim. Difficult day for manager Jerry Loughnane, who'd love to be up and down that sideline as usual, roaring out the encouragement. They call him the 16th man. Daly towards David Ford. Back by Kevin Martin. Johnny Dooley here. Johnny was fouled. Free to Offaly. 65 metres out from their own goal. Right around the pitch this afternoon on the 45-metre line there are water stations, and it's very important that the players take in as much liquid as possible in the course of the match. So Brian Wheelahan got the first point of the game. There the boys are poised with the water. Brian with the shot, and this time it goes away to the left. First wide for Offaly. Brian Whelan, who was taken here in 1981 by his dad, who was so terribly well known in this game, to see Offaly win the All-Ireland against Galway. That's broken down here well. Kevin Martin has gone across to the right-hand side. Here's John Ryan. The footballing full-back sells that one a bit short to Darren Hannafy, and that's enough for Ollie Baker to come in. He was tripped. Tripped by Paddy Mulhare. This is Ollie again in full flight, and there he was, caught by the leg. So Sean McMahon, whose points have been so vital in major matches at Croke Park, Thurles and elsewhere. From just outside the 65-metre line, that's a beauty. The first of the day for Sean McMahon, and Clare go in front for the first time. Early stages in the match. What an excellent strike. We really have two expert free takers from long distance in this game, in Sean McMahon and Brian Wheelahan. Darren Hannafy has pushed up onto the right half forward position at this stage. As Johnny Dooley is back around midfield. Clare have the free. Anthony Daly taking it towards the Sparrow. That's a great catch. O'Loughlin in full flight here, chasing after him still is Johnny Pilkington, who hasn't had a very good season so far by his own high standards. Here's PG O'Connell trying to get the pass through. Wheelahan trying to get it out. It's O'Loughlin trying to get it in. What a lovely pick-up that time by Brian Wheelahan, using the feet superbly. Richard Woods put under pressure for the first time. John Troy's in there at full forward. The number 14 is John Ryan. Really, it's been played at 100 miles an hour at this stage. That's Michael Duignan making little headway. Liam Doyle coming onto it. Big cheer for Doyle. The entire panel got a big lift when he came back into training on Wednesday night last, as Gerald O'Loughlin here is fouled, and that's going to be a free in. Well, a really seasoned campaigner, the Sparrow. 29th time today to play in a championship match for the Banner County. So now, the first free of the match for Jamesy O'Connor. Dropped in high and batted over the bar by the stick of Stephen Byrne, the goalkeeper. But the point credited to Jamesy O'Connor. And Clare lead by 3 points to 1. Well, just 1 point of the 4 so far coming from play, and that from David Ford. Liam Doyle under this one with Michael Duignan. Johnny Pilkington trying to steal a march there on Sean McMahon. Still painted about McMahon going back. And the shoulder there coming in from Joe Dooley. That's the sun in this gentleman's eye, but it's a welcome presence for a change after so many dull Sundays. Frank Lowen wearing number 2 this afternoon in his usual right corner back position, although of course he had been programmed at full-back. Several changes once again on the Clare programme this afternoon, but we've become so familiar with that. Liam Doyle. That runs on towards PG O'Connell. Kevin Martin trying to pressurise O'Connell, getting in his stroke. Nicely caught over there by Simon Wheelahan, operating at left corner back just momentarily. Here's Ollie Baker having difficulty containing that. John Ryan has it for Offaly, the beaten Leinster finalists in this All-Ireland semi-final. Up towards John Troy. Troy was tripped by Richard Woods. And that's going to be a free in for Offaly, and a chance of a second point for them. This is where there was contact there made by Woods on Troy. And Ollie Baker receiving the attention there from Dr. Porrick Quinn. Colin Flynn in there as well, the team masseur. And Mike McNamara coming out just to check on the well-being of the midfielder. This is what happened just moments ago there, the little push, and over went John Troy. So they're still having to work furiously here on Ollie Baker, who I would rate as one of the top midfielders this year in the championship, along with Tony Brown of Waterford. Tony Considine taking the words of advice, I'm sure, from Gerlach Nan. Baker's okay. Guard in Ballinasloe in County Galway. A match which is trying to establish a pattern still, as John Troy sweeps this one from the free, beautifully over the bar. And yet another point from a free in this match, which is now 3 points to 2. So David Fitzgerald waiting. While he was waiting, there were lots of switches being made by the Clare forwards, moving across, changing position the whole time. PJ O'Connor was going across. This is James O'Connor, who was one of those making a change just in that movement a little while ago. That's Hubert Rigney, Offaly's captain this afternoon. In towards John Troy. Richard Woods, the inexperienced full-back, certainly at championship level. Michael Duignan takes it back here, but Johnny Dooley to hit. And Johnny Dooley is usually accurate, and that's Offaly's first from play. The equaliser then by Johnny Dooley, and it's 3 points apiece. Certainly a manager who looks in stress watching as Dooley once again managed to find the target. Kevin Keenan was going in there. There was a wild pull, and the referee going down to have a little word with Niall Gilligan, bringing him across, I think. Jimmy Cooney is a player, an ex-player, well respected. In fact, yes, it is Niall Gilligan. All the change of numbers that they have, but of course he always plays at top of the right. Stephen Byrne will take this free. Promising young goalkeeper. It's a huge one, down towards John Troy. Richard Woods taps it out again, but they're anticipating that, the Offaly half-forwards. Michael Duignan, quick look up, and that's batted down by David Fitzgerald. Of course, Michael Duignan beat Fitzgerald with a curious goal in the 1995 All-Ireland final. Might have well have been going through his head. Fergal Hegarty here, linking up with Brian Quinn. Towards James O'Connor, caught by Simon Wheelahan. Hand passing it outside towards Martin Hannamy, almost putting him in some trouble. Very commanding cornerback, Martin Hannamy, one of the very best in the business. And I'm sure that student of hurling there in the background appreciates that. Hanamy's 31st championship game. Stephen Byrne pucking this one. Again, a huge one in towards Joe Dooley. Runs on, David Fitzgerald runs out. Still trying to get that ball away. Pressurised once again by Joe Dooley, getting the shoulder in, and that's a second 65 for Offaly. And the Offaly fans, I think, warming to the commitment of their team, putting it really up to the Munster and All-Ireland champions. And Davy Fitzgerald forced into trouble here, one that he had to scamper out quickly to beat Darren Hannafy to it. Joe Dooley was coming in after him, and he took it out over the end line. So a highly charged occasion. Once again, it's Brian Wheelahan, got the first score of the match from a 65, to repeat the trick once again, which he does. A second for Wheelahan. And all of the Offaly fans who've made the journey here, more in hope than in expectation, will be delighted. They've gone in front. Fitzgerald's puck out right down the centre towards Fergal Hegarty. Caught by Alan Markham. Gerald Loughlin reacting quickest, taking Kevin Keenan away out of position. The angle shot. Stephen Byrne under pressure, and that's put over the bar, and the referee says fair point. Seemed to be Alan Markham who was chasing in after it last. May well just have got the stick to it. This was Gerald Loughlin. It hung in the air for what seemed like a long time, and yes, it was tapped over there by Alan Markham. Well, the referee has signalled that with the score being 4 points apiece, it's in fact a free out, which is taken here by Michael Duignan, and Duignan hits it over the bar. Great score by Duignan, operating at left half forward. No great surprise there. So Michael Duignan left half forward, first point of the match. And Offaly now, the correct score at this stage is 5-3. The scores have been amended here in Croke Park. They had it at 4-all. Here's PJ O'Connell. Chase by Paddy Mulher is playing in midfield alongside Johnny Pilkington, and that has definitely gone to the left. Well, when he was sent off in the first match against Waterford, the shame of it was that he had been playing superbly up to that point. It's Barry Wheelahan there in the centre of that group of subs, watching as Stephen Byrne pucks it out. Everybody going after it. Brian Quinn trying to contain it. Offaly get the decision. They also lead by 2 points. Brian Quid is a very, very tidy hurler. Made his championship debut against Kerry last year. Anthony Daly, very seasoned campaigner. Down towards Jamesy O'Connor, being very closely marked by this man here, Kevin Martin, seemingly indestructible. Hubert Rigney, it's a formidable half-back line. Up towards Joe Dooley. Frank Lowen trying to get it out. Sean McMahon's in there as well. A bit of wild pulling and it all gets overheated. And several players getting into the thick of the action, leaving off some steam. Joe Dooley there and Anthony Daly having words. Several other players trying to act as peacemaker. And the player who's been isolated there is Anthony Daly. Just goes to show you, one pull out of place and it can all flare up. This is what was happening here. Innocently enough starting out, but then that wild pull, and you can see straight away the reaction of the Clare players, and Frank Lowen getting an elbow to the back from Joe Dooley. And it all ends with a handshake. Good spirit of sportsmanship being shown in the end there by Joe Dooley and Anthony Daly, but both of them having the names taken. And over on the far sideline we have some news, I think, from Marty Morrissey.
Just to supplement what you were saying, Ger, off camera, lots of positional switches in the Clare attack. Niall Gilligan and Alan Markham have switched corners yet again. It's happening continuously right throughout the game.
Yes, it's almost impossible to keep tabs on it, but that's all part of the tactics in this modern game of hurling. The referee racing downfield just to be in situ before the ball arrives. It'll be a free for Clare. Sean McMahon to take it. Virtually in the centre of the field. Another huge one dropping away to the left-hand side, over the heads of everybody, but in particular Niall Gilligan. A hint of frustration there on the Offaly fan. McMahon back in position. Remember, he is marking John Ryan, who's playing on the 40. John Troy is in the full forward position. But even that is subject to change every couple of seconds. Michael Diagon trying to whip onto it, but it's Liam Doyle instead. Brock down. Everybody trying to get at the end of it. It's David Ford trying to take it away from his man. Just getting it as far as Ollie Baker. Off an opponent. The hand pass back here. Again, it's David Ford. Realising that it was going to be blocked or hooked, trying to get it back to Daly. It comes back to Offaly and Darren Hannafy. Way downfield. John Troy trying to scamper around the back there of Richard Woods, using his leg well to shield the ball. Troy trying to set up one for Johnny Dooley. First touch leaving him down. He got a blow in any case. Down he goes and it's a free in. So a chance for Offaly to even further ahead. The Clare backs were incensed by all of that because it was Johnny Dooley a few seconds ago who had that wild pull that started the pile-up, which resulted in a couple of bookings. Free to Offaly. A side who have not played well at all this championship season. Trying to rediscover their form of the last few years. John Troy hitting. He rarely misses. That's the second point from a free by John Troy, and Offaly lead by double scores in a match which has yet to produce a goal. So 20 minutes are gone. Offaly fans, I think, enjoying themselves famously here, probably feeling they hadn't much of a chance. The build-up was all about Clare, very little about Offaly. That's Johnny Pilkington getting it through towards Johnny Dooley. Sean McMahon, and the referee has spotted a foul by Johnny Dooley, having a word with him, and the notebook is out. In spite of the hand being around the referee's shoulder, it looks like he's going to have the name taken as well. So 3 bookings so far, 2 for Offaly, 1 for Clare. So it's going to be Sean McMahon who will hit this. That's Michael Bond there, who was once in charge of a very good Galway under-21 team. 1983, I think it was. In towards the Sparrow. Kevin Keenahan struggling to get it away. Gilligan trying to hand pass that to a colleague, but not to a colleague, getting it to an opponent, and that was Simon Whelan, stopped as he was going out. Again settling down to have a very, very effective match, getting a pat across the back there from Brian, his brother. Big day for two of Padjo's sons playing here in an All-Ireland semi-final. Gilligan was trying to hand pass, and again it's the very tidy Simon Whelan. Does so much effective work. Stephen Byrne with the free for Offaly, down towards Johnny Dooley, fumbling to take it up, however. Brian Quinn's right alongside him, Richard Woods, Frank Lohan and Sean McMahon, that unmistakable style, onto his right-hand side, only to Michael Duignan, however. Johnny Pilkington was coming right behind him. Duignan gives the shoulder to PJ O'Connell, hits in the shot, and it's batted out towards Joe Dooley. The Clare backs again under incessant pressure, and this is a Clare full back line without the inspiration and character of Brian Lohan this afternoon. Will he be a huge loss yet? That's John Troy, chased after there by Fergal Hegarty, dished back towards Duignan. A really committed performance by both teams. Ollie Baker was getting that ball away. He was fouled by Johnny Pilkington, and a free to Clare. Well, this is wholehearted commitment, but this was the shot for Duignan, was batted away by Dave Fitzgerald and could really have gone anywhere. And now the goalkeeper is out there about 47 metres from his own goal. Slight breeze now behind him. It's picked up in the last 10-15 minutes. Very slight breeze. Again, it's Brian Whelan, lovely classic style of hurler, up to Johnny Dooley. Offaly trying to show us that maybe they've had a bad season so far, but they're still very firmly in this championship. John Ryan, letting that one go on. Darren Hannafy just ran awkwardly for him. This is a player with a very good day against Anthony Daly in a club semi-final earlier in the year, but that's a very poor final effort, and that's a second free wide by Offaly. Yes, it's Darren Hannafy who's being marked by Anthony Daly, and in that particular match between Burren and Clare Castle, he scored 4 points, had about 7 wides as well, if I recall, but he got a lot of possession from Daly, who was doing a lot of sweeping across his own half-back line. This is Jamesy O'Connor, beautifully in, beyond Gilligan. Stephen Byrne makes the catch. He's a much more confident and assured-looking goalkeeper in this particular match than he was in the quarter-final against Antrim. John Ryan has already got a medal this year. That was in National League football. Here's Sean McMahon, shouldered, gets that ball into his hands and whips it left-sided way downfield on towards Niall Gilligan. And the referee again whistles, spotting a foul. Gilligan was trying to get the ball inside. It's going to be a free to Clare, and they need another score here just to keep in touch. Michael Bond was quoted during the week as saying that this would be a low-scoring semi-final, and that's pretty much as it's turned out so far. This was Kinahan under some pressure and some trouble. Free to Clare. Jamesy Fitzgerald will be the taker, or Jamesy O'Connor, I should say. 1 point in the match so far. That was his 90th ever point in championship hurling, and that's his 91st. Both points today coming from frees, but only 2 between them. So many points in this game have come indeed from frees. 10 minutes to go to half-time. Stephen Byrne's puck out. A big one, dropping into the half-forward line towards John Ryan, trying to get the better of Sean McMahon. That's not easy. Johnny Pilkington's in there after it as well with Michael Duignan. Comes out here towards Ryan again. A bit of a wild pull there on Sean McMahon. And the referee, Jimmy Cooney, has been very, very quick to spot any kind of chops down like that. This was it again here as Ryan was coming across, chopping down onto the hurley of Sean McMahon. Not allowed, free out. Davy Fitzgerald, deep in concentration. A huge one, the man who finished second in the Puck Fada in the Cooley Mountains last Monday. To an Offaly man, incidentally, Albert Kelly. David Ford swinging it across here towards PJ O'Connell. Enterprising play by Clare. They go the long way around, but it's a lovely point. And now, just the minimum minute. PJ O'Connell's first point, delighting these Clare fans. And Gerlach now there on his feet there with some words to the other selectors as we go back to our sideline reporter today. It's Marty Morrissey.
Yes, I believe that Conor Clancy will be introduced, but the switch will involve Jamesy O'Connor being moved to centre field, where Gerlach Nan feels at the moment they're being beaten.
Yeah, that is very much the case, because Fergal Hegarty hasn't really got into the match at all so far. And as we know, Ollie Baker was injured a little while ago. Here he is trying to pressurise Darren Hannafy. That's Joe Dooley. That's another one. Joe's first point of the day. Restoring the 2-point lead that Offaly are enjoying. And it's 7 points to 5. What a player he's been down the years, Joe Dooley. 15th championship season. Great career. David Ford's after that one. Niall Gilligan trying to take it up. The long leggy figure is being chased around Croke Park by Martin Hannamy. Still gets his shot in towards Alan Markham, looking for support, and the referee again saw that he was being fouled, and it's going to be a free in. Good work by Alan Markham from Kilmaley. And now the change that we were anticipating is being made, because Conor Clancy has come on, and indeed it's going to be Fergal Hegarty who will make way, I think. So Hegarty makes way, Clancy is on. Conor Clancy, by the way, is number 21. This free, 20 metres out, to be taken by Jamesy O'Connor. And he goes for the goal this time, or did he connect poorly? Ordinarily you would expect him to tap that one over and take his point so early in the match. Maybe he just mishit. Paddy Mulhare, cousin of selector Podge Mulhare, in the thick of that there, alongside Hubert Rigney. Once again it's Gerald Loughlin, the Sparrow, looking for the score, but that has gone to the left. 4 wides now for Clare as we go back to Marty.
At the moment, Clare have 16 players on the field, because Fergal Hegarty did not come off. Podge Mulhare has informed the linesman, and Fergal is now departing the scene. So it's back to 15 against 15, but certainly Offaly were protesting along here along the sideline that Clare had 16 men on the field for the last few minutes.
Okay, so 16 now reduced to 15 as Jamesy O'Connor, who seems to have gone back in towards midfield, and Conor Clancy has gone on to the 40. David Ford to his left, PG O'Connell right half forward, and it's Markham, the Sparrow, and Gilligan at this stage in the full forward line. Positions, of course, don't correspond to numbers where Clare's concerned. Martin Hannamy to take this sideline cut. 6 minutes to go to half-time. Missed by John Ryan, but not by the assured Sean McMahon. Cross towards Alan Markham's corner, batted out there by Simon Wheelahan, doing a good marking job on Alan Markham. Up it goes towards Michael Dignan, pressurised by Frank Lowen. Liam Doyle then coming in, making the clearance to midfield towards Conor Clancy. That's Paddy Mulhare operating in midfield alongside this man here, Johnny Pilkington. 3 against 1, runs out towards Joe Dooley. One back by Jamesy O'Connor, but not completely one back. Brian Quinn pressurised by a couple of Offaly players, hit into space. Clare there in numbers, won't come up first time for Daly. The pressure by Hannafy on the goalkeeper, Davy Fitzgerald. This is the team captain, Anthony Daly, soloing away from the danger zone. Good ball down towards Conor Clancy. Maybe he can add a bit of variation to the Clare attack. That's out there towards Johnny Dooley, a huge one, very ambitiously hit. If anything, Offaly seem to be operating with sometimes 3 men in midfield. Mulhare, Dooley and Pilkington. And Gerlach Nan from the back benches, as it were, trying to counteract that. Here's PG O'Connell, leaving it there for David Ford. Again, there was a connection unfairly made by Brian Wheelahan, the referee explaining it there. Widely respected official who, as I say, played in the 1980 All-Ireland final, indeed in 1981 as well. He was deep in the throes of championship action. Galway won in 80, lost of course to Offaly in 81. Sean McMahon's free, 50 metres out. That looks a good one. But it's been waved wide. Can't have been too much in that one, but no argument from the Clare lads. So 2 points separating the teams. Offaly having the better of it in the opening 32 minutes or thereabouts. Sean McMahon again, reading the game so well, coming across the line right and left. That time his clearance blocked down by Michael Dignam. Darren Hannafy has the chance to take this into his hand. And that time he fouls it, taking too many steps in his second championship match. And a free downfield for Clare. Scores so scarce this afternoon, so every scoring chance will have to be availed of. In towards the man at full forward, the Sparrow bats it outside towards Niall Gilligan. Kevin Martin going across as well. And in the end, it's that tidy player Simon Wheelahan who picks it up, chased by Markham, very near the sideline. Jamesy O'Connor trying to get it up, and the linesman there from Galway, Michael Bodkin. Another Galway man there, the Offaly team manager, Michael Bond, in the background. This was how all of that developed. Well, the ball has been thrown in, and it's back with Markham. Cross towards David Ford. First touch to take it down into his hands. Laying it off there towards Gilligan. Roger races his way through. And what is it? Is it a penalty? The referee's gone in. Well, this was the run here by Niall Gilligan, grounded by Keenahan. And the referee calling aside Kevin Keenahan. This was the run in here. Lovely layoff there by David Ford. Clever play. Down he went. Well, they're attending to the injured player while Kevin Keenahan gets his name taken. It becomes the third Offaly player to be in referee Jimmy Cooney's book. Fairly blatant that time. Well, the referee going in to have a word with the Offaly defence. Free from the 20-metre line, and yes, it has to be a penalty. They were all there hopefully waiting. Jimmy Cooney late about giving his decision, but there had to be only one decision. It had to be a penalty. So now Clare get this glorious chance approaching half-time. And the referee wanted to make sure that everybody's outside the exclusion zone as Davy Fitzgerald comes up to take the penalty. Remember 1995 in Thurles when they won back the Munster Cup? 3 on the goal line. Brian Wheelahan on the left, Martin Hannamy on the right, and the goalkeeper Stephen Byrne in the centre. About to face them is the opposite goalkeeper, David Fitzgerald, Clare's penalty taker. If it's stopped, just watch out for him sprinting back up the field. Offaly lead by 2 points. Davy Fitzgerald strikes, saved brilliantly by Wheelahan, again by Conor Clancy. They're all in after it. Keenahan has it, and now the Clare goalkeeper sprints back up the field. That was a great save by Brian Wheelahan. The Offaly defence survives. Sean McMahon trying to get it downfield. He was being fouled, and it's a free out for Clare. But what a couple of moments of drama. This was David Fitzgerald. He caught it really well, very sweetly, but a fine save by the diving Brian Wheelahan. And in the follow-up, they failed to add. Stephen Byrne's gone down injured. The clearance was made, of course, by Kevin Keenahan, player who was booked in the concession of that penalty. Offaly have 12 scoring chances in the half so far. Clare 14. You see the scores. No change following that penalty, even after Conor Clancy followed it up. And the ball was whipped out of danger. And that's what happened afterwards. And the referee is down there having a word with his umpires just to see if they saw how all of that developed. Michael Bond also in there attending with Dr. Brendan Lee to the goalkeeper Stephen Byrne. David Ford is having his name taken, so he becomes the second Clare player to be booked by referee Cooney. So we're into injury time. Referee has been a busy man. It will be a free to Clare. Loughnane looking on, Robert Frost checking his watch, Brian Lowen there just to the left of the picture. Daly taking the free, looking for something before half-time, having missed the penalty. Clare failed to add to it here, and it's going to be a puck out for Offaly. Daly usually good for a point or two from long-range frees. You can remember and think back, I'm sure, to the great All-Ireland final win by Clare in '95. Stephen Byrne pucking it out. The whistle goes for half-time, and Offaly have had the better of the opening 36 minutes or thereabouts. Clare missed the penalty after David Fitzgerald, well-hit shot, was saved by Brian Wheelahan. Lots and lots of pointed frees from this first half. We've yet to see the best of the hurling from these two teams, but at half-time it's Offaly who lead by 2 points as we go down to join Marty Morrissey.
Thank you very much, Ger. Well, joining me here along the sideline is Tony Constantine, the Clare selector. Not a very good performance by Clare in the first half.
No, we're playing very bad at the moment, and we've missed a lot of frees, and of course the penalty was saved, and you know, it's going to be really, really tough now in the second half. Offaly are closing us down very well, and they're playing well within themselves, you know, but still there's another 35 minutes in it, really, you know.
Some of the Clare players just don't seem to be able to handle sliotar that well today. It seems to be bobbling out of their hands.
Well, you get days like that, Matthew, you know, that it falls out of your hand. You get other days they go in, but nevertheless we have 35 minutes to get it right now, and that's what we're going to do.
One last question, Tony. One thing about this Clare team, they're extremely fit. It's very warm. The last 15 minutes, will Clare come good?
Well, we'll have to come good sometime, and you know, there's 35 minutes for us to do it, and that's all that's left, so we have to do it now. Everything is on the line here.
Tony Constantine, thank you.
Yep. I think on a day like today you could say that Offaly have upped the gear and Clare perhaps down a gear. But 2 points in it, that's the situation that it was oddly enough in the minor match as well. There's still a long way to go in this All-Ireland semi-final. We'll be talking to Cyril Farrell and to Morton Mulcahy about that first half after this commercial break. So in this All-Ireland hurling semi-final, 2 points separate the teams. Offaly lead Clare by 7 points to 5, and down on the pitch at the moment you have the young players of the future, boys and girls, showing us the skills of hurling and camogie as organised by the GAA and the INTO. Alright then, so that's the situation as I said at half-time. Cyril Farrell, really Clare haven't settled into any pattern yet. I mean, apart from the players who've been missing, which have upset things a little bit, they seem to be making a lot of changes as the game goes along, and they don't seem to be playing to any form.
Well, they're not playing to any pattern as such, but I suppose you'd have to admire Offaly. Offaly definitely have put, say, an extra man out midfield. They're playing 3 midfielders, more or less 2 inside, and they're fighting for everything. They're crowding out Clare, especially in Clare, say, half forward and centre field. Trouble out of them there. And any chance that has come to Offaly, they've taken their chances, whereas Clare at the moment haven't taken their chances. Now, they've had plenty of chances, and like they've missed kind of long-range frees and close-in frees that usually they wouldn't, and 1 or 2 chances of goals like were missed as well. Whereas Offaly, like, you know, they came in with a lovely low profile, nothing to lose, nothing about them all week, and now like they're 2 points up and only 35 minutes left.
I suppose this is the situation, Tomas, like when a team are 2 points down at half-time, you start asking yourself, like, what's wrong with them? Not necessarily too much. I mean, here was one free now that Offaly got, right, the 65. Do you think this is a 65?
It looked doubtful. When you see it again in the replay, I think that Davy Fitz did everything in his power to try and keep the ball over his line. But again, Joe Dooley had, maybe you could term about a high challenge on Davy Fitz as he's coming out as well. And I thought that we had actually gone for free out at that stage. As I see it again, the ball right back to Davy, fails the pick of the first time.
Pushing the back.
Yeah, pushing the back, certainly was a free out to me. And just know whether the ball actually went over the line either as well.
So that's one of the points that Clare are down at half-time, that perhaps they shouldn't be down at half-time. Then we saw an uncharacteristic miss, Cyril Farrell, from Jamesy O'Connor. I presume he fluffed this rather than going for a goal.
Yeah, he didn't go from a goal here, like they're all in the goals, and like it's very untypical of Jamesy really, but I suppose anyone's had a mistake and come up all around from him, hits it down again, even takes the sting out, but hits it into the ground too near him, and it's good as a score for Offaly, because like Kevin Keenan picks it up and clears it out. They're the kind of things that are going wrong. They'll be trying to rectify that, but Offaly will be quite happy to be 2 points up.
Yeah, and then of course in the last couple of minutes of the game, Tomas Mulcahy, it all got very interesting indeed. The penalty, now there was no doubt this was a penalty.
Oh, no doubt whatsoever. And it's a great build-up there by David Ford, and just wondered in the second half whether Clare will actually put him closer to the goal, because he's very, very lively around the square, and it's a great crossfield ball. And when it comes to David Ford, he does everything right. His first touch is very, very good, and he goes through and he sees Niall Gilligan outside him, and when he gets the ball, there's no doubt. I mean, it's a certain penalty, and the Offaly backs can't have any argument about that, and I'm looking maybe not to concede a goal, but this is the penalty itself. I mean, David Fitzgerald does everything right, picks the ball well. It's a tremendous shot, but credit to Brian Whelan back in the goal. It's a great save. And the follow-up, there's a bit of a melee in the follow-up, and Conor Clancy got a chance to actually pull in the ball into the net, but off camera there you see there was a bit of a shemazel around the square and the goalkeeper went down, and I think the referee booked David Ford for that incident. But things like that are not going Clare's way today. Their forward line has been switched and changed, and they've moved from one half forward to the other side and one corner forward to the other side. Centre forward has moved out to midfield, and they seem to be upsetting themselves more than anything else, you know. And as Sarah said, you got to give credit to Offaly though, because they are bunching. I mean, playing the two-man forward line, they are bringing fellas out the field, which means they're cutting down the supply lines, which has been Clare's half-back line down through the last number of games. It's cutting down the supply line to the forward line and doing it very well at the moment.
And their defence, the Offaly defence is playing very well, Sarah.
Yeah, like Brian Whelan's having a fantastic game, and Simon Whelan's having a great game. They're all settled in there. Kevin Keenan, Martin Hanemy is a cute old stranger, got a free or throw, played for, knows how to play. Kevin Martin, to me, is a very underrated wing-back, always very there, and like Hubert Rigney is around a long time and knows how to play. Now, they are playing very well. But after saying that, Michael, like if Clare, I know they're 2 points down and Offaly in the driving seat, but if Clare start edging in front, start to tapping opening points, there's a nice little breeze down there, there's no talk about it, and I have a feeling that Clare have it the second half. There'll be terrible motivation inside that Clare dressing room, and I suppose the question will be like, have Offaly the fitness to keep it going for another 35 minutes? If they do, you're going to see them in All-Ireland.
Well, that's the real question, I suppose, at this stage, Tomas, because really now what Clare have to do, presumably, in the second half is sort of impose themselves on Offaly.
Yeah, and we've seen that with Clare over the last number of years. They seem to grind teams down, and in the last 15-20 minutes, up the pace considerably. Offaly have worked very, very, very hard in the first half, but they've got to work equally as hard in the second half and take every opportunity that they get. Clare, on the other hand, will have to open up the pace more, but they've been caught in too many tight situations. They're not free-flowing, as we've seen on numerous occasions in the past, and inside in the dressing room at half-time, they're going to have to talk to themselves to open up the play. They're being caught in too many closed-down situations without being able to get in a free puck, and that's not the Clare game that we've seen.
There's not an awful lot happening around the middle of the field.
No, I mean, it looks, I mean, again, you credit Offaly in situations like that because they've been cute enough. I mean, bringing the corner forward out the midfield, they've closed it down completely, and I mean, the Shawnee McMahons and the Anthony Daly's and the James O'Connors are getting very little of the ball to actually supply the forward line with, and you've got to give credit to Offaly for that.
One thing that obviously will worry a Clare supporter watching the match there, Cyril, is when one of the starting 15 is taken off. Now, he's been brought in the first case to shore up a situation, and then he goes.
Yeah, Fergal Hegarty was a broad midfield. He wasn't doing that much, but it's supposed to be fair to him. There was so many out there, it was very hard to impose himself. They just felt he wasn't doing enough and he's gone. Now, they have brought James O'Connor to midfield and they expect more of him the second half. And PJ O'Connor's gone back in centre forward, and they have lads thrown all over the place. Like, they have Gerald Loughlin gone in full, and I've Gilligan has gone wing. Like, but as Tomas says, they're all over the place and they haven't set down any pattern. But still, if they do edge in front, they'll be very hard to stop, because if they get that momentum going. But fair due stuff, like they'll still, like Johnny Dooley's capable of tapping away a point now and again. John Troy, Joe Dooley, Michael Dryden is playing a broad midfield now and again. He goes switches in and out. Podge Mulher is in and out as well. And John Ryan is very strong. They'll be just hoping to get the odd score to keep ahead of the time. Whereas Clare will be hoping, let's get our own game together and kind of grind down the opposition and get on top. If Clare do get in front, say we're even at 10 or 15 minutes gone second half, they could go on to win it. But like if Offaly tap over point two, we're in for an interesting second half.
Just one little thing mentioned in the Offaly forward division there, we see John Troy wearing a helmet today. He was involved in a car accident a week ago, but it doesn't seem to be having any effect on him.
Yeah, he was in Ballinasloe Hospital, he got a few cuts and scrapes. That's not going to stop any Offaly man. It's only just superficial cuts, like a few stitches. That's not going to stop John Troy playing. He's a first-class hurler. And you see Johnny Dooley as well, playing very deep midfield, capable of getting up a ball and snapped one just wide, but capable of shooting from, say, 60 or 70 yards, kind of on the hip more or less. I think they'll be doing that in the second half as well, just to try to open up the Clare backs.
OK, we'll take a break here at the presentation box just for the moment, because we're going down pitch side to hear from Marty Morrissey.
Thank you very much, Michael. Well, joining me now is Podge Mulher, the Offaly selector. What was said at half-time?
Just to remain as they have been for the last 35 minutes. This game is not over at all yet. We're well aware of Clare's fitness, and Clare, we saw how they did with Waterford in the second day, in the last 20 minutes, so we know what we have to do.
But you're showing great self-belief. This is by far your best 35 minutes in the championship.
Well, we're Offaly men, and when you shoot down Offaly people and when you criticise them, your own and everybody else, you have to show a bit of heart and stuff. So far we have shown heart.
So do you think you can win it?
We have a chance, yeah. We have a chance, yeah.
Podge Mulher, as usual, thank you.
Yes, well, I suppose that's a typical Offaly response, is it? Now sure we have a chance. They have more than a chance. They're leading this game by 2 points as we go back to Ger Canning.
Yes, my Aston may well be on tour, but then they're on tour from every possible part of Clare, you can be sure. I was down during the week, and this game was just the only topic of conversation everywhere from Doonbeg to Ennis, I can tell you. And I'm sure every part of Offaly as well had this as their centerpiece of conversation from morning till night. So Offaly lead. Now who's going to get that first place through to this year's Guinness All-Ireland hurling final? Johnny Pilkington and Michael Dignan now has gone into midfield. It's Offaly 7, Clare 5. Start of the second half. That's up there towards Paddy Mulher. And Paddy seems to have switched again, but then again, let's wait and see how this match settles down as Brian Quinn tries to get his clearance in. Stopped by Johnny Dooley. Michael Dignan has gone in to do a marking job on Ollie Baker. Johnny Pilkington looking around to see who he should be marking as Anthony Daly is looking around to see where the slitter has gone. They're going to get a replacement one from the goal area. Anthony Daly having another distinguished year, and that in spite of warnings earlier in the year that he might be a little bit vulnerable. And he certainly hasn't shown that vulnerability in any championship match that we've seen him playing. Down towards Jamesy O'Connor, stopped by Darren Hannafy, right on the sideline. And Evan Moksivna deciding that it's going to be Offaly's ball. Jamesy O'Connor getting back goal side. Some maximum care being taken with this sideline cut by Johnny Pilkington, one of the great characters of this Offaly team. It's a huge one in, beyond Richard Wood, stopped by Frank Lohan, showing that he's every bit as dependable as his suspended brother Brian. David Ford trying to get that ball tapped away from him by Brian Whalehan, still in play. Jamesy O'Connor going back, a little dodge to the left, and he strikes it away beyond Simon Whalehan. Kevin Keenan coming to the support of his right corner back, snapping that one back into the centre of the field towards Brian Whalehan, beating Jamesy O'Connor. Darren Hannafy has it nicely inside beyond John Troy, stopped by David Fitzgerald. Sun now beating down into his eyes for the second 35 minutes. PG O'Connell starting here at right half forward. Clancy's in the centre. It's still O'Connell, still bearing down on goal. Back out to the Sparrow it comes, and that's a lovely point. First point of the second half, scored by Gerald Loughlin, his first point of the match, and there's just 1 point between the teams. Well, the Clare fans were encouraged, of course, by the team manager, Ger Loughlin, to get right behind the side in Dublin this afternoon. That they're doing, and that point there is one they'll celebrate. Stephen Byrne pucking out. The breeze behind him. It's picked up since about the 10th or 15th minute of the first half. Offaly get the sideline ball. Ollie Baker just looking around to see who he should be marking. It was Michael Dignan, as Johnny Pilkington comes to take it. Johnny in his 28th championship match. In there goes towards Darren Hannafy, a really dangerous pull. Pulling before the ball had arrived. Free out to Clare. It'll be David Fitzgerald who will take it. Clare have had some great goalies in the past, like Seamus Stewart, but none has enjoyed the success of that man. Guided by Ger Loughlin, of course. Towards Gerald Loughlin, touched away by Brian Whalehan and the half-back line for Offaly, added to by Johnny Dooley. Here comes Sean McMahon from centre half-back. Michael Dignan breaking it up, losing his stick. Anthony Daly pressurised. Support coming from not Colin Lynch, but Ollie Baker. Baker storming forward, in beyond the Sparrow. This is nicely picked up here by Niall Gilligan. He was trying to one-hand it forward to PG O'Connell. He has Conor Clancy inside, gives it towards Clancy. Pressurised instantly by Brian Whalehan. Whalehan on his left-hand side, dropping it back into the Clare half-back line. Liam Doyle trying to break it away. Here comes Paddy Mulher, now in the half-forward line, and that's a good shot, and that's the first point of the second half for Offaly. Paddy Mulher from St. Rynagh's, making it 8 points to 6. Still 2 points between the teams. Well, it was the Offaly backline that was under pressure. Once they broke it up, it was down to Mulher. Quick as you like, and it's over the bar. Brian Whalehan again, driving that one defiantly back. Sean McMahon stopping it for Clare. In the absence of Brian Lowen, he'll be really a crucial figure for the remaining 30 minutes or so of this game. Niall Gilligan hand passing it back to Ollie Baker. 45 metres out, 40 metres out, has support. Going to ground, tripped and a free in for Clare. And across on the sideline, some more news for Marty.
Yes, Chair, just to tell you that Fergie Toohey is being introduced. No confirmation exactly who's coming off, but we suspect it could well be Alan Markham.
Okay, Toohey is in then as we watch in reprise. Ollie Baker goes storming forward. Down he went in the end. So Fergie Toohey in the action, playing his 18th championship match as Jamesy O'Connor hits this one between the posts and he puts it over the bar. 8 points to 7. Seems to be Conor Clancy who's gone off. So the man who was introduced as a sub has now been substituted. 3 points now for Jamesy O'Connor. Fergie Toohey, rather Liam, this is Jamesy O'Connor. Jamesy was pushed. Free out to Clare and Sean McMahon about to take it. Again, the fans raise the decibel level here. Both sets of supporters getting right behind their team. Stakes are great. David Ford switching across to right half forward. Switching inside now beyond Hubert Rigney, outside to PJ O'Connell. Kevin Martin trying to get in a tackle. It's O'Connell's shot and it's gone away to the right. First wide of the second half and the 7th of all. Well, the rival fans are trying to out-cheer one another as Stephen Byrne pucks this one out. Baker has that one broken away by John Ryan. David Ford back there battling. Darren Hannafy whipping it along the ground. Added to over there by Mulher. In towards Joe Dooley. Trying to link up with Darren Hannafy, who started all of that. Anthony Daly trying to come in here, trying to get that ball away. Look at the pressure that's being exerted on him. Brian Wheelahan, lovely composed style, and there's a loose man inside and it's Johnny Dooley, and that's gone for a 65. A wonderful save by David Fitzgerald. It might well have been buried into the back of the Clare net, but the marking was terribly, terribly loose. That's Johnny Dooley suddenly popping up in a scoring situation. An absolutely fantastic save by Fitzgerald. Daly goes down. The doctor and the physio are in. But this should have yielded perhaps a goal, certainly a point, and Offaly denied by some fantastic goalkeeping. Well, already a candidate surely for save of the year. Wonderful piece of goalkeeping by David Fitzgerald. Anthony Daly, who would be a big loss, he's okay, I think, and able to continue. All around Clare Castle, of course, there are signs about Dalo and good luck and so on in all major matches in recent years. He's been their captain, fantastic, an overused cliche, as Brian Wheelahan takes the 65 and drops it over the bar. Immaculate shooting by Brian Wheelahan. That's 3 65s, all of them converted into points, and Offaly lead by 2. Clare fans look quite uneasy, most unhappy, because Offaly are tigerishly sticking to their task. Gary Hannafy may well be coming in pretty soon as we watch that one sail over the bar. That's another point for Offaly. Fergie Toohey with that point for Clare, I should say, and it's 9 points to 8. That's Hannafy who's just come in. It may well be that Gary Hannafy has come in for his brother Darren Hannafy. So now just the minimum minute after Fergie Toohey's point for Clare. Richard Woods chasing across to try and deny Joe Dooley. Woods, full back this afternoon. David Ford chases. Kevin Martin, first touch, unable to take it up onto his stick. This is Ollie Baker. Baker looking to try and set up Clare for an equaliser. There's a pass on here outside to David Ford. That's going away to the left. Might have been the equaliser, but isn't. Certainly we look to be in for an enthralling last 25 minutes of this match, because Clare are certainly not having it their own way. He said it was their most important match since 1995. Banished to the sidelines this afternoon. A one-match ban. Sean McMahon put under pressure here. John Ryan trying to take it through. Ryan looks for support, gets it from John Troy. First touch not brilliant, but it gets it into Mulher, who's gone down injured, but he's put that ball wide. It's a head injury, as you can see there. Back onto his feet. But Paddy Mulher there may need some attention. The stick there of Liam Doyle accidentally connecting with his head, I think. Yet another good reason, I think, why players should wear helmets. This was the hand pass from John Rother, the pass outside with the stick. On it went, and yes, there was a little connection there, an accidental blow. Just may need a stitch or two later on. In the meantime, some running repairs. And again, the team doctor, who was Brendan Lee, called into action. Referee opting to hold up the match. The rest of the players will be quite pleased with that in any case. And the referee playing his part. I think all the other players will be glad of the break on such a steaming hot afternoon. Lots of them taking the opportunity to take water on board, which under most circumstances is fine if you happen to play on the wings, but if you happen to be full-back or centre-half or right down to the centre, it's almost impossible to get across to get some water. And some more news now coming from the sideline from Marty.
Yes, Ger Lucknan has just called over Tony Considine and asked him to go around to the other side to tell his players, I think, to drop that ball in a lot quicker into the full forward line where Gilligan and Sparrow O'Loughlin are. There's a tendency here, I think, in the Clare dugout to think there's too much hand passing going on.
Well, it's David Fitzgerald who comfortably gets that ball away for Clare, down towards David Ford. Fergie Toohey coming onto it. Man who got that point just moments ago. Dropped in there beautifully. Broken down. Gilligan was trying to get in after it, and the referee saw a push, and it's going to be a free in for Clare, and this should be the equaliser. Referee having a word with one of the Offaly men, but that was Johnny Pilkington rather, going in, flattening Niall Gilligan. The referee right on the spot, having a word there with Hubert Rigney, the Offaly captain. Jamesy O'Connor about to come into picture. There's Tony Considine there, having brought in the advice. And that's put over the bar, and it's the equaliser. Level for the third time in this match. And that's a fourth point from a free by Jamesy O'Connor. The man who was their star, of course, throughout the 1995 season when they won that elusive All-Ireland, or elusive up to that particular point in the 90s. Stephen Byrne about to puck it out. Anthony Daly batting it away from Gary Hannafy. Fresh man in for his brother Darren. Inside towards John Troy. Couldn't quite take it up. Instead it's Sean McMahon. Clare trying to set up an attack and trying to go in front here, but it's stopped by Simon Wheelahan. Joe Dooley aware of the need to make sure that Offaly stay that little bit ahead at all times. Richard Woods getting assistance here from his team captain Anthony Daly. A bit of experience there counting for a lot, as Daly realised that Woods might well have needed help. It'll be an Offaly sideline ball. Fergie Toohey with the number 11. Didn't start the match, however. Johnny Pilkington from Burr. Beautifully across. Inside towards John Troy. Trying to take it around Richard Woods. Still John Troy. Daly next in with the challenge. Whipped back, expecting somebody to come onto it. Instead, it's Brian Quinn who's marking Johnny Dooley, and that's well away from danger. Nicely forward. Alan Markham driving it in. Well saved by Stephen Byrne. Linking up with Kevin Keenahan. But straight to Jamesy O'Connor, dodging around Brian Wheelahan, and the referee says, hang on, Brian, you didn't get yourself away there as you should have. In fact, you fouled the man coming through, and it's the noise you hear right now from the Clare fans as they've got this chance to go ahead. Brian Wheelahan clearly putting out that stick there and impeding Jamesy O'Connor unfairly, the referee says. O'Connor taking the free himself, high, and Clare lead. 5 points from frees for Jamesy O'Connor, and it's Clare 10, Offaly 9. That's nicely down and taken there by John Ryan, the man on the 40, partially blocked, still gets it inside there towards Mulher, and he whips it over, and they're level again. Claudy Mulher's second point, making it 10-10, and Offaly showing us here some tremendous commitment and character. This was it again, as Ryan got it into Mulher. Just after Clare went ahead, Offaly came back, showing they're going to make a match of it. David Fitzgerald's puck out, in over the head of Brian Wheelahan, going back, showing style, getting away from Fergie Toohey, towards Gary Hannafy, wonderful catch, trying to keep that ball moving fast inside, but he was fouled by Ollie Baker, and a free downfield for Offaly. That's Gary Hannafy, also from Birr, one of the stars of their wonderful club winning team. This was the catch he made just a while ago here, and then tried to get it away when he was fouled by Baker. So Brian Wheelahan, this is just outside the 65-metre line. 3 long-range frees converted so far from 3. Trying to make it 4 out of 4. He never misses. And Offaly have the lead again. Clare led for only about a minute and a half. It's 11 points to 10. Well, Ger Loughnane knew what he was saying during the week when he said this would be a major test. It is. Fergie Toohey trying to get it on towards Alan Markham. Simon Wheelahan goes out, holds back his man. It's a free in for Clare. The tension unbearable, and it must be unbearable in particular for Ger Loughnane. Still obeying the touchline ban. Pat Fitzgerald, the county secretary, there to his right. That's Tony Considine going in with some more words. Possible switch has been considered. Michael Bond pacing up and down. His other selectors, Pat Mulloughley, and of course also Podge Mulher. Jamesy goes low this time, and it's stopped by Stephen Byrne. Great goalkeeping by Byrne. He's caught everything brilliantly this afternoon. Down towards Liam Doyle. Ollie Baker, pressurised by Johnny Pilkington. Getting this one in towards John Troy. Troy looking for Johnny Dooley perhaps. A real pile-up of bodies. Number 14 is John Ryan. That's Brian Quinn. A wild pull, and the referee says free out to Clare. John Ryan protesting. But the referee definitely saw there was a chop down there at the end of all of that. A bit of frustration. At the other end of the field, this was a quite terrific catch by Stephen Byrne. Under intense pressure. David Fitzgerald's free. It's a huge one. Right into the inside forward line. The backs coping well. Michael Duignan hand-passing that one. Brian Wheelahan trying to get it away. They're all so terribly well aware that he likes to get it on his left-hand side if at all possible. This is Sean McMahon, and the referee might have allowed an advantage. He again indicts John Ryan for fouling the centre-half back, Sean McMahon, just as he was making a quite superb catch. The free is to Clare, who trail by a point. 15 minutes to go. McMahon taking it. Inside towards Fergie Toohey, it drops it down. The Sparrows after it, whipped out by Whelan, having a wonderful game. Duignan's after this, PG O'Connell trying to get possession. Here's Ollie Baker. Hubert Rigney's right alongside him. They keep possession well. That's Quinn. Nice ball inside towards Alan Markham. Jersey pull, tries to get that ball outside towards Tui. A high pressure situation. Ollie Baker comes in, stopped by Simon Wheelahan this time. The backs staying firm. That's Michael Duignan. Again they go for the hand pass, and Brian Wheelahan, after all of that pressure, gets it away. That's quite wonderful defensive play by Offaly. But it comes back to PJ O'Connell. They look for the equaliser, the All-Ireland champions, through Jamesy O'Connor. His shot is in, but it's gone to the left. 9 wides for Clare this afternoon. Jamesy misses, hasn't scored from play. And on the far side, some more news from Marty.
Yes, you can anticipate a change very shortly. Joe Erity is warming up, and I can confirm that he is going into the Offaly attack, not into the defence, but it is not yet decided who exactly is coming off.
Well, he was the marvellous Burr captain, of course, can play full back or full forward. John Ryan coming in, trying to steal a march on Sean McMahon. Jamesy O'Connor's back there. A backs-to-the-wall situation now by the All-Ireland champions. They really are in a very tight match here. Credit Offaly for that. They've really upped their game. Kevin Martin trying to get that ball down, and the referee says holding, and it's a free to Offaly. It'll be Brian Wheelahan who'll take this free. It's outside his range. I just about think maybe by about 10 metres, but you never know. Slight breeze behind him, he might do it. Will he opt to drop it in? Wheelahan has gone for it, right in there. Where will it end up? Johnny Dooley was whipping onto it. Remember that goal he got late against Wexford? Will they ever forget it down around Wexford? Frank Lowen fouled as he was taking it out, and a free out to the Banner County. Michael O'Halloran there on the right-hand side of that group might have been one of those considered for the full-back position or the right corner-back position. Alan Markin. One Wheelahan leaving it for another. It's Brian who gets it away. Not so far this time. Ollie Baker picks it up magnificently in midfield. The shot by Baker is high, and it's gone over the bar. And it's the equaliser. Superb play by Ollie Baker, and it's 11-all, and the sides are level for the 5th time in what's turning out to be a tremendous semi-final. Two very equally matched teams. Baker with that superb score from some considerable distance. Offaly back, pressurising the Clare backs again. McMahon up nicely to Gilligan. Angling this one in towards Alan Markham. Runs on here beautifully. Tui's in, and it's a goal! Fergie Tui! Is that to be the decisive moment in this game? A swift attack, and Fergie Tui scores with 23 minutes gone in the second half. It came in for Gilligan, bad defending, but Tui was in to slip it back. Stephen Byrne, the only goal of the match so far, and it is going to Clare and to Fergie Tui. He took it brilliantly. The man who was picked to start didn't start, but came in, and what a contribution, a goal and a point. John Ryan is off the Offaly team, Joe Erity's in. Here's Johnny Pilkington. Now it's been really put up to the defeated Leinster finalists. Pilkington coming through, scored a goal against Clare in the 95 final, stopped by Liam Doyle, hooked, Erity's in there. Clare trying to defend valiantly. This is Woods, that was kicked out over the end line, and that's a 65. What pressure. Well, Stephen Byrne had really no chance with that, because Fergie Tui, I think, could see the whites of his eyes before he unleashed a quite unstoppable shot. But it's a goal now which gives Clare a 3 points or 1 goal lead. Brian Wheelahan, 100% from long range frees so far. This another, and he's put it over the bar. Or has he? Well, it seemed that the umpire on the left was saying put up the flag, and then he waved it wide. So still a goal between the teams. Davy Fitzgerald. Joe Erity is playing full forward, by the way. John Ryan is not gone off. John Ryan is on the 40. It's John Troy, in fact, who's gone off the Offaly attack. Johnny Pilkington, so many switches, so many moves. Erity chases after this against Woods, the fullback. Richard Woods' clearance to Jamesy O'Connor. Across to PJ O'Connell. Brilliantly blocked down by Hubert Rigney. Rigney trying to set the Offaly attack moving. That ball runs beyond Liam Doyle. Stopped however by Sean McMahon. Oh, that was a vital interception there by McMahon. He was fouled by John Ryan. And Anthony Daly, I think, having words with John Ryan. A bit of careless use of the stick, really, and an element of frustration as well, as Hubert Rigney placed this ball inside, missed by the first man, who was Liam Doyle, but not by McMahon. And then that shot. David Fitzgerald looking composed. As I mentioned earlier, they've been in a very tight situation. Are they to get out of that tight situation and get through to another All-Ireland final appearance? Their third in 4 years. That's some achievement. Johnny Dooley. Stop. Liam Doyle. Up towards Fergie Toohey. Wheelahan there, losing the helmet. Not losing his way, but he's under pressure from Alan Markham. This is to the goal scorer, Fergie Toohey. And he's put it over the bar. That's a goal and 2 points. And I think Fergie Toohey laying down a marker. If Clare get to the final, he wants very serious consideration this time. He's got a goal and 2 points. Quite a wonderful contribution once that ball was played out to him by Markham. An angled shot, but a terrific score. Back in the Clare half-back line, it's Sean McMahon. He's had a wonderful game yet again. And that time the referee says jersey tugging by Niall Gilligan. And it's going to be a free downfield. Hubert Rigney coming across to take it. Well, it was a real body blow to Offaly following their terrific display to concede that goal after 23 minutes. And now 8 minutes remaining in the match. Rigney trying to set Offaly up for something. McMahon against Ryan. And Sean McMahon again. Once more breaking Offaly hearts. Ryan and Johnny Dooley. It's Ryan who was fouled that time. Jamesy O'Connor turning away from the action, but it'll be a free for Offaly, and Johnny Dooley's about to take it. And just before he does so, let's have another word from the sideline.
Further news from the Offaly camp. Billy Dooley will be introduced in a moment. The man will be coming off with John Ryan.
That's gone in. Where will it end up? It's a goal! Once again, Johnny Pilkington has scored against Clare in a major match. That free by Johnny Dooley, dispatched to the net following some uncertain defending, and delighted Offaly fans have seen their side edge close once more. It was Dooley who took the free, a low enough trajectory, batted out by Davy Fitzgerald for about the third time of the match, and Pilkington said, take that. 28 minutes gone. Billy Dooley has come in, and this time it is John Ryan who's gone off. So now Offaly with their tails up, still a point behind, 112 to 111. But here is a chance now for the equaliser. Up on Hill 16, it's full with Offaly people. Johnny Dooley, a point so far, but he's made that goal, and now he can add on the equaliser if he puts it over, and he does. Clare and Offaly are drawing 112 apiece, and what a finish we should have now with 6 minutes to go. Tremendous excitement, gripping, really wonderful entertainment. David Fitzgerald putting that puck out towards the Sparrow, stopped by Kevin Keenahan. Down towards Joe Erity. Billy Dooley was after it as well. In towards Johnny Pilkington, fancying a second one. Good save by Davy Fitzgerald. Great clearance right down the field towards Fergie Toohey. He breaks it in towards Alan Markham. He's after it again himself. Simon Whelan tries to get it out for Offaly. Kevin Keenahan sweeping it down to Michael Duignan. Michael Duignan's huge shot from way out the field has gone to the left. He was some 85 metres out when he hit that one. The All-Ireland champions are in a very tight squeeze, being squeezed by Offaly. Still, he's in that seat behind the dugout, or to the side of the dugout. What can they do now? It's there for the taking by either side. A couple of moments of inspired brilliance. That's what we're looking for. Brilliance we've been getting all day from McMahon. Not the longest of shots, dropping it in there towards Alan Markham. Gilligan tried to get it inside. Here it's stopped, and stopped well by Brian Wheelahan. What a display we've seen from Wheelahan. Richard Woods taps it out. Liam Doyle's waiting for it, inspecting the shoulders to come in. Frank Lohan trying to thunder out from cornerback. He overhits the pass, however, and it's going to be Offaly who will take the sideline ball. And some more news from the sideline.
People mightn't like to hear it or indeed see it, because the hero of the 95 All-Ireland, Eamon Taff, is about to be introduced. In fact, he's just going to the referee.
Yes, the man who was in for 6 minutes scored a goal against Offaly. He's in, didn't see who went off, but with a sideline coming up from Joe Dooley. Good connection. Again, it's McMahon. He has had a wonderful game. Again, stopping Michael Duignan, getting that ball away. Kevin Martin. David Ford, the one who's made way, by the way. That's up there from the Sparrow. Racing after it is PJ O'Connell. Stopped by Simon Wheelahan. And the Wheelahans from Offaly making a major contribution to their side's performance, which has been the best they've played in the championship this year. Oh, it's needed to be, because they were up against the best team in the land. The referee's going to wait and see this ball thrown in by Eardon McSeevna, Ollie Baker and Hubert Rigney. The others should be 13 metres back. Play continues. Only 3 minutes left. Sides level. Who's got the wherewithal now to find a winning score? That's touched out again by Martin Hannamy. Out by Mulhare. On towards Johnny Pilkington, the man who got the goal. Here comes Pilkington. 20 metres out. He's put it over the bar. Johnny Pilkington with a goal and a point. And Offaly lead by a point. The All-Ireland champions in real peril of surrendering their title at the semi-final stage. Johnny Pilkington has come alive, has switched into full forward. At the other end there's a save by Stephen Byrne. Drop down again towards Michael Duignan. Racing after it over there. Trying to get that ball up is Billy Dooley. Well, Billy, one of the stars from '94. That last 5 minutes, who can ever forget it? 2 goals and 5 points. 7 scores in 9 attacks in a 5-minute spell that shattered Limerick. Offaly have had 25 scoring chances. Clare with 29, and it's not over yet. Kevin Keenahan taking it out here. A strong man trying to get away from the Clare forwards. Clare will battle like tigers for the last couple of minutes, just to try and preserve their title. But are we to see a side beaten in a provincial final get through to the All-Ireland final itself for the 2nd year in a row? Jamesy O'Connor in real distress. There's another player down injured as well. But this is what happened to Jamesy. Down he whelped. I think it may well have been Johnny Dooley who caught him. Colin Flynn attending to Jamesy O'Connor. He's okay. They've also got another man down in need of some attention. That's PJ O'Connell, of course. And all this while, Ger Loughnane can only sit there alongside Colin Lynch and Brian Lohan, his side trailing 113 to 112. We're inside the last minute of normal time. The referee will probably add on a minute, maybe 2, for injuries. Are Offaly about to dethrone the champions? Offaly had shown us no form whatsoever this year, and that time there's a chop The referee goes to Kevin Keenan and says, "You're the guilty party," and that's a free in for Clare. They may be saved yet. Hubert Rigney looking back at match referee Jimmy Cooney. Could it possibly go to a replay? Jamie has got 5 out of 7 frees so far. This the most crucial. This to make it level. He's done it. Jamesy O'Connor with 6 points, or rather 6 points, yes. And it's 113 to 113. We're in injury time. Now it's at the discretion of the referee. They've been level 7 times. How much will the referee add on? Is there something somewhere somebody can do? Not this afternoon. It's all over. It ends in a draw. The referee added on about 30 seconds of injury time. It ends in handshakes, but they're going to have to go through the entire exercise again. His one-match ban is over. It must have been so tight, so tense, so terrible to be unable to come on there and make a better contribution for Ger Loughnane. The replay, we understand, is on Sunday next, when Clare and Offaly must battle again, having finished here. Clare 113, Offaly 113. And let's go back to Marty.
Thank you, Ger. Another Ger is with me, Ger Loughnane. The All-Ireland champions have survived.
Just about by the skin of our teeth. What a superb display by Offaly. You know, they were absolutely outstanding all the way through. And they play the kind of game that Offaly were playing 5 years ago. Brilliant, brilliant hurling. No space out there, no place for the faint-hearted. A tremendous game between 2 outstanding teams. We make no excuses about players missing anything else. Every man on that field, every man that came on for Offaly, every man that played for Offaly, every man that came on for Clare, and every man that played for Clare gave their level best. And it ended, I think, fairly in a draw in the end. A fantastic game.
Did you think that Clare had it won after Fergie got the goal?
I did. I thought the goal, whoever scored the first goal would be decisive, but you never write off Offaly. You know the tremendous record they have of coming back, and it was we who stole the draw at the end rather than the other way around.
And how difficult was it for Ger Loughnane to stay in his seat along the sideline?
It's very unreal, really. You know, it's like you're a spectator of a match rather than being involved. It's totally different being up there than being down on the field. But I'm just so proud of all our lads, the way they fought and the way they battled on when the tide turned against them. And it shows the tremendous character of this team. And I hope all those people who castigated Clare over the past few weeks feel a little bit guilty now about what they said. There was the dirty stroke struck out there today. 2 great teams that battled it out to the line. It ended at a draw, and we'll have another day.
Thank you very much, Ger Loughnane.
Okay.
Well, there's no doubt about it. Everything that's been said and written about Clare and Offaly for the past couple of weeks has been in a negative vein. What we saw out there for the past 70 minutes or so was nothing but positive. Great game of hurling. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I'll be talking to the panel about what we saw after the break. So the crowds dwindle out of Croke Park then after this afternoon's semi-final. The public address announcement here has just said the details of the replay will be announced either tonight or tomorrow. Now we're speculating at the moment that replay might be next Sunday. They'll need some rest though, Cyril Farrell, after that 70 minutes, won't they?
I don't think Croke Park will have to hold them next Sunday because you'll have Waterford and Kilkenny. And like after a game like that, the big thing today, Michael, was that hurling was the winner. After all the week and all the different things going on, it was important that hurling, and All-Ireland will be won every year. Some county will win it and someone will be coaching or training. So it was important today that the hurling got on top again. And once again, we saw what a fantastic game it can be. Tit for tat each way. Offaly would probably feel a bit saddened, I'd say, this evening. They psychologically, Clare got the draw more than Offaly did. And Gerald will be kind of more or less in tune next week. He has his suspension over, and I think Brian Lohan will be back next week when there's Everson again. And I would say, that they will be more geared for the game. There are a lot of distractions coming in. And what I would fear for Clare today is if they were badly beaten, they'd be forgotten for the great hurling they've given over the last 5 years, for 3 or 4 minutes of play that shouldn't have gone on. And now they're back on track, and it's anyone's game the next day. Offaly fair juiced them, they took the game with a scruff neck. Everyone knows that they're good hurlers, and they proved it again today.
No matter who wins this All-Ireland this year, Tomás Mulcahy, or gets into the final, by golly, they'll have done it the hard way, won't they? Certainly from this side of the draw, anyway.
Yeah, and I mean, as you've got to give credit to Offaly today. I mean, and as Pat Delaney said during the week, he was looking for a bit of passion, a bit of pride in the Offaly jersey, and he certainly got that today from the players. They were tremendous out there, and I think the turning point for Offaly when Clare did go 4 points ahead, is that they came down defeat again and they battled their way and they never died. And actually, I mean, after a couple of weeks ago might have died at that stage, but I mean today they were a different team completely, and you have to give them great credit. And the other side was, well, Fergie too, isn't it ironic? In 1995, the All-Ireland final, he destroyed Offaly. Today he comes on with 20 minutes to go and he scores 1-2. You know, so brilliant substitutions by Clare at the end of the day.
Well, we saw 2 dramatic goals in that second half, Cyril Farrell, but before that there was this, David Fitzgerald's save. What a save.
Fantastic long ball in. You'd want Johnny Dooley to get it, if you're Offaly person to get that. David brings a fantastic save off again. Like, Johnny was the right man to get it, like goal torture supreme, and he went for it, you couldn't blame him, and David brought it off. But the big thing was as well, like that, when they did come in here, Johnny was on his own, he got inside the back line, here Johnny was searching back in. Maybe he's a bit strong on the right side, a great left-handed shot and a fantastic save. But even though there's a great save, Michael, fair play to Brian Whelan. He hopped over, took his 65 and got his point. They still got the point over it. Whelan got about 4 65s today, or that, like, and it's a great contribution as well.
We saw Johnny Dooley left unmarked there, Tomas. But when the Clare goal came, it was a nice break, and there was people in the Offaly defence looking at each other.
They were, yes, and here you see Niall Gilligan hitting the ball across the field. Watch when it breaks. Look, Fergie too, he's the first to react to run on and gives the keeper no chance. And it's something Fergie has been doing down through the years. He's come on as a stalwart player, very experienced players. They made a huge contribution today.
Clare officials behind the Offaly goal there, which will displease some people, but a very well taken goal.
Yeah, definitely. And again, as I see it, I mean, as the ball breaks, I mean, that's what the forward is supposed to do. He watches for the breaking ball. And then the keeper comes out to him. It's a great shot off his left hand, and he'll be delighted with that one.
And then came the Offaly goal, Cyril Farrell. And I mean, Pilkington really took this well. Davy Fitz may be a little bit unfortunate the way it hopped up into the air off the hurley on him.
Yeah, well, it was a free-in from Johnny Dooley. Now, most times it's Johnny to score this type, but he hits it and he probably kind of misses it a small bit. But Davy just seen that and blocks it down, and who better man than Johnny Pilkington? Like, Pilkington would be out there to kind of, he had to prove himself today again. He was going in corner forward, had ran himself ragged midfield, and he got 1-1 from corner forward. He'd be the happiest man in Offaly tonight. But like, it was a great, when it came like against what Tomas saying, Offaly are never dead, they fought on there. Usually that ball going over the bar. Once Davy brought it back out, up in the air, here comes in Pilkington and sticks in the back net. Again, you see, Johnny, there were 4 points down at this stage, hits it in, it's just kind of a low trajectory, so sees last second, gets up a good save, bang out, and here's Johnny coming in, one-handed, gives no one a chance, and they're only a point on after that. Now Johnny at this stage is in corner forward.
He was in corner forward and he took about a 5-minute break after that, Tomas. I think all the Offaly players were giving it everything at that stage.
They were, yeah. And going back to the goal there, I think Davy Fitz would be disappointed with himself that the ball actually came out. I think his reaction was to knock the ball over the bar, you know, rather than actually let it spill off him again. And that's the danger. When it comes back off you, there's a chance that somebody's going to finish it at the back of the net. But Johnny Pilkington, I mean, he got the equalising point there as well. I mean, it was a great move by Offaly. I mean, he gave his all in the middle of the park, and they put him in corner forward, and he ends up getting 1-1 at the end of the game, and that's a great move by Offaly.
The big question, obviously, is now who's going to win the replay. Will this have strengthened Clare's hand?
Certainly, Clare will look at themselves and they'll say to themselves, look, we're better than what we played today. We got totally bogged down in certain areas of the field. We were bunched too much. There was very little open play. There was a lot of frees in the second half there. But you've got to remember, Clare have played a lot of hurling now. I mean, they've drawn against Waterford, they've drawn against Offaly now. So how much has it taken out of the team physically? Offaly will have the belief in themselves now that they are certainly good enough. You know, they've got a very, very good game out of the system, and I'm sure Offaly will feel that they can improve on today's performance.
Okay, well, that's for the moment the view of Tomas Mackay and Cyril Farrell. Let's find out what the view is of some of those involved. Let's go down to Marty Morrissey.
And joining me here now is Michael Bond, the Offaly manager. A transformation in this Offaly team in comparison to their other games in the championship.
I wouldn't think so, Marty. This team had character and strength all along. We've 30 great men on the panel and 18 men played today, and I'm certainly very, very proud of them, and every single person in Offaly is very proud of them today. They really showed the people who criticised them so much, and I hope Pete Finnerty gives the man of the match to the linesman again today.
There was one thing about Offaly today. They went back to their traditional game of fast